What would you do if the one person you never stopped loving suddenly asked you to be their husband? Not forever, just for 1 hour. Sounds impossible, right? But sometimes 1 hour is enough to change an entire lifetime. Stay until the end, because this story proves that true love never really disappears. 5 years after leaving Australia to build a career overseas, I returned to Sydney for a business conference. I never expected the first person I'd see at a quiet cafe overlooking the harbour would be Emma, the woman I'd loved since university. We smiled awkwardly, pretending 5 years hadn't passed. She looked successful, elegant, but her eyes carried a sadness I couldn't ignore. We talked about work, old friends, and the dreams we once shared. Then I laughed and said, "If you ever need a husband for an hour, call me." She didn't laugh. Instead, she whispered, "1 hour isn't enough." Before I could ask what she meant, her phone rang. The color drained from her face. "My family's waiting," she said. "Please come with me." Curious, I followed her to a beautiful estate outside Sydney. Only then did I learn the truth. Her grandfather, the man who had built one of Australia's largest family businesses, was dying. His final wish was simple, to see Emma happily married before he passed away. Emma had been engaged months earlier, but her fiancé had secretly left her for someone else that very morning. She couldn't bear to let her grandfather spend his last hours believing she'd been abandoned. "I don't need a real husband," she whispered through tears, "just someone who can help me give him peace." I looked into her eyes and remembered every promise we'd made when we were young. I'll do it." Inside the house, her grandfather smiled the moment he saw us holding hands. "So, you finally found your way back to each other," he said. Neither of us corrected him. That evening, surrounded by family, we exchanged simple vows, not for legal papers, but to fulfill a dying man's final wish. He squeezed my hand. I always knew she'd only ever loved one man. Those were the last words he spoke before peacefully closing his eyes. After the funeral, Emma thanked me for everything. "I'll never forget what you did." I nodded, ready to leave Australia once again. As I picked up my suitcase, she ran toward me. "You once joked about being my husband for an hour." I smiled. "You got your hour." She shook her head, tears filling her eyes. "No, I've already lost you once. I'm not wasting a second chance." Then she reached into her handbag and held up an envelope. Inside was the marriage certificate her grandfather's lawyer had quietly filed after the ceremony. "It turns out," she laughed through her tears, "we're legally married." I stared at her in shock. "So, what happens now?" Emma slipped her hand into mine. "Now we stop pretending." 6 months later, we stood on the cliffs overlooking Australia's breathtaking coastline, renewing our vows, this time not for anyone else's happiness, but for our own. Sometimes life gives you a second chance when you've stopped asking for one. And sometimes 1 hour really isn't enough. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another unforgettable love story. Tell me in the comments, do you believe first love deserves a second chance? Until next time, take care and keep believing in love.